Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa, this is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich.
That was weird. And that's why. Yay! Wait. Okay. I can make this work. Okay. I think we're gonna be okay. I think they can hear me, and you can hear me, and
okay.
Weirdly enough, it's say. Can you say okay again?
Okay.
I'm gonna turn you down a little bit. There you
Sure.
go. Okay. This will work for now. It's not ideal. Okay, that's weird that it's working, but it's not working all at the same time. I'm going to have to figure that one out. For those that are joining us, or if you didn't have audio, at some point when we started the recording, the audio dropped out. I apologize. We got a lot of show to talk about. We're just getting into it. Fruit Loops won 100% of the votes. 8 people voted for it. Go look at it if you want to know your shout-outs. We gave your shout-outs. I'm sorry, people. It's late. We're tired. We're going to move on.
All right, so this week's poll, we're going to go with a sausage, egg, and cheese breakfast sandwich. When I think of that, I think of the sausage, egg McMuffin from McDonald's, and against sausage breakfast pizza, staple, gas station staple here in the Midwest. And my go-to thing if I'm driving into Casey's on the way into work every once in a while.
That is, it's crazy when people come to the Midwest, they freak out that Casey's is actually such a big name for pizza.
Yeah.
Like they look at us like we're crazy that we want pizza from a gas station. But it's delicious, people. If you didn't know it. It's very delicious.
A lot in small communities here in the Midwest. That sometimes it is the only restaurant you even have in that whole town.
Yeah. So, okay, I gotta turn this way down. Okay. Yeah, there we go.
I'll make sure to get that up once we get done talking tonight, Mike. So, Mike,
perfect.
You see what's coming up next.
Is it a left turn, Rich?
It is, Mike. And what's after that?
It's another left turn. And what is that, Rich?
Well, Mike, only because of where we're going, Mike. And what's after that?
It's another left turn.
That's right. Because we're going into the NASCAR corner presented by Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated, Moline, Illinois, down on 5th Avenue. And you can also find them on eBay, Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated. So, Mike, I had to say it 3 times because we're at the Tricky Triangle this week, so only 3 turns.
Yeah.
Normally you have 4.
Well, really you only have 2 at most NASCAR tracks. Let's be honest. Normally you only have 2. They're just 2 really long ones that they cut in half for no real reason. But, yes, there's 3 this week, so we'll go with it. Okay,
so
but first we have to talk about Chicago's race, the Grant Park 165, which was shortened significantly again due to rain. Man, this track can't get any love on 4th of July weekend.
It can't. It really can't.
And part of my problem is, why are they doing it so late in the day? Like, why not roll it up 2 hours earlier? If you give yourself 2 more hours. By the way, 2 hours earlier, it wasn't raining. They were it sprinkled a little bit here and there, but they would have had an hour and a half to 2 hours of on-track time, getting the cars, the race hot, the surface hot. Like, why are they putting it so late in the day?
Yeah. My thought on it was that, I mean, this is the second year. It's only the second year for the street course in Chicago, but for the second straight year, it's been rained out. It's been a rain shortened event. That so maybe if there was bad rain in the forecast, and you have the constraints with the city of Chicago saying that, well, it's got to be wrapped up by this time, because we got to start tearing it down to get ready for traffic on Monday, for normal traffic on Monday. They have it shut down like the week before the event, don't they?
It's like 4 days or something like that, 4 or 5 days before the event.
Okay. So my thought is, why doesn't the Xfinity Series race on Friday and you do the Cup on Saturday? So if one of them gets rained out, you have Sunday as your backup.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think the problem is that if they said we're going to race this day, then the city would say, well, we need you to be done by this time because this is when we're tearing down. That's the way the city's going to do it, period.
Or you only have one series go there. You only have the Cup Series race there.
Yeah, but either way, whatever day they said they were going to put the Cup race on, that would be the day that the city of Chicago would say, okay, we got to tear stuff down because we got to be ready. Like, it doesn't matter. If they did it on Saturday, they'd say, well, as soon as at 8 o'clock, we got to shut down. So
8 o'clock. 8 o'clock local time.
Yeah.
Throw the white flag, and regardless of wherever you're at in the race, and you're done.
I liked the way they did it. I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. But, yeah, I could totally understand what you're saying there. Rich, your winner was Alex Bowman. And at the start of the race, I was really kicking myself. The first third to 3/4 of that race. Well, so we watched the first part of it. Had something that we had to do. I don't remember what it was. We got busy, and then we watched. Oh, with the rain delay. It was the first rain delay. We turned it off, and I was playing with the kids.
Okay.
And then we came back, and I almost texted you, man, I should have taken SVG. I was so mad. He was doing so great, and then he wrecked out. Tyler Reddick should have won that race. He screwed himself up on. Did you watch that?
I got to watch the tail end of the race.
So you saw
we were out at the golf course.
Yep, I forgot about that.
Watched some of the golf. Watched some of the golf, and also stayed a little bit for the concert afterwards.
Yeah, did you hang out with that friend of ours? Did she end up coming?
No, she didn't end up getting to go.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, the end of the race, Tyler Reddick was on the dry tires, and Alex Bowman was on the wet. And Tyler Reddick was flying.
Yeah, he was.
He was catching him, and he came through a corner, just barely clipped the corner. And in clipping that corner, he 100% He 100%.
And he still had time to recover, but you were just as much racing against the clock as you were racing the course.
So it was the last lap, though. It was the last lap because
That's
of
right. At that point, they had blown the white flag due to time.
Yep.
So you just had to make it across one more time to cross the checker, to take the checkered flag. And Mike, my pick of Chase Elliott came in 21st, and that ties us up.
Yeah, it does.
So before I think we've kind of already touched on it, but before we could talk about the tricky triangle, do you think a street race is worth it?
Yes, I 100% do. I totally like the street race. I totally think it's a fun new thing. Now, do I think it's at the right spot? Probably not. I think it would have been. I think we touched on it a little bit last week. Put the Chicago race back in Joliet. Put it back at that track. Go to a place like Phoenix for a road course. Go to a place like. Go to somewhere in California. Go somewhere else that. I mean, one of the problems is how many more iconic spots are there than that track that they're doing. That track is amazingly. They do a great job of making sure you hit all of the you get to see the beam, you get to see Lakeshore Drive. When they come in from Lakeshore Drive, you get to see the skyline in the background, and you can see the track. You see Buckingham Fountain. You see Buckingham Fountain. You get on the Magnificent Mile. It is nearly a perfect place to put it. It is such a beautiful, and you see so much iconic land, like architecture and everything, that it is completely an awesome place to do it. The problem is the rain and the wind in Chicago will always cause problems. Always.
No matter when you have it.
Pretty much. I mean, look at yes, no matter when you have it, Chicago will always bite you in the butt because you never. What's Rich? Okay.
Yep.
You live in the Midwest, right?
Yep.
Chicago's in the Midwest?
Yes, sometimes, unfortunately.
Well, yeah. Okay, Rich. So rule number one, okay, you don't like the weather in the Midwest, what do?
Wait 5 minutes, it'll change.
So it will always change, and it will always cause problems. So, what do I think? I think it's worth it. I think that city's a great place to do it. I just don't know if it's the right place to do it.
So it's a great course layout, but is it worth all the red tape and dealing with the Chicago ward bosses and city council and the mayor's office to make it worth it?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's the hard part. So, okay, Rich, you didn't get to answer that question. What's your answer?
At this point, I think I'm going no.
Okay.
I don't think it's worth it. Because no matter where, I guess I can understand a big city like Chicago. Of course, whether the day after the race, like last year, it was July 4th weekend, so Monday was a holiday, so they didn't necessarily need to cut the race short. They could have said, all right, we're going to pick it back up Monday. But they shortened the race. This year, they shortened the race because Monday's a work day. Monday was not a holiday when they ran it this year.
Yeah.
But I just don't think it's. Hey, I don't know. That's why that's why I thought of the idea of, well, why not have it on Saturday? But
yeah.
I'm sure if you gave them Saturday, they'd say, all right, it needs to be wrapped up by Saturday at 9 o'clock, so our crews can start opening it up. But I think you'd kind of maybe have that kind of government politicking of we need to have this wrapped up by this time, no matter where you go.
100%.
Because it is a inconvenience to the city that lives there. You can't shut down a big chunk of major highways and roadways for what almost amounts to a week.
Yeah. No, I totally get it, and I totally agree. And that's why road courses are hard to do. But I think, like I said, I even think the track is a great track. But there's a lot of caveats that come with it. With that, Rich, we have the Great American Getaway 400 presented by visitpa.com at Pocono. We're heading to the Poconos where the rich people vacation. Rich, who you got for the week?
But you have the honors this week.
I do. I forgot about that.
Yep.
Go
ahead and give your pick first.
You know what? I got to go with Denny Hamlin. He's awesome at this track. Hard not to pick him. I'm guessing that if you didn't hate him so much, he probably would have been a little more upset that I picked him.
No, probably not. But it's hard for me to. I don't want to pick Denny Hamlin because I don't want to see him win.
Yeah.
So he will be in my fantasy lineup along with a lot of my fantasy lineup this week is leaning really hard into Toyota. I don't have any Fords in the lineup.
Rich, you know who I don't have in my lineup?
Who do you have? Who don't you have, Mike?
Don't have Denny Hamlin in my lineup.
Are you out of uses?
I'm out of uses for Denny Hamlin.
All right. So the Toyota that I'm going to take is I'm going to go Martin Truex Jr. He's a veteran. I'd love to see him get a win in his farewell season.
Yeah, I'd love to see that too.
Next year.
Okay.
All right. So Mike, we do have two bits of news in the NASCAR world, and that the first one is that Rodney Childers will be the next one of two dominoes to fall this week with SHR, as he's going to be going to Spire Motorsports to work with Corey LaJoie next year.
Yeah, and then Noah Gragson is moving to Front Row Motorsports to replace Michael McDowell.
Yeah, they haven't announced if he's going to get McDowell's number 34. Yeah, I think he drives 34. Or if it'll be the still to be determined number, which will be the third charter, their third charter, which they bought when SHR announced their decision to shut down. So that leaves Ryan Pierce as the remaining SHR driver without a ride for the 2025 season. So maybe he's the one that gets the seat at Haas Racing.
Yeah.
Or it's going to go to maybe someone in their Xfinity program instead.
Yep.
So we'll be sure to put that into our NASCAR talk once that news is announced.
And this has,
Mike, go ahead and take us out.
This has been the NASCAR Corner, presented as always by III Sports Cards Incorporated, Moline, Illinois. Check them out for all your sports memorabilia needs, either online on their eBay store or in person on 5th Avenue, Moline. Once again, that is III Sports Cards Incorporated. Okay, Rich, let's keep making left turns, but this time on the diamond as we talk Cubs baseball. For once this year, the Cubs actually did something well. Or for the first time since, early May, the Cubs went 5-1 on the week. Today's games don't count for anything on us because of all the craziness of the last day and a half, we had to do some switcheroos.
That's right. So, Mike, they split the two games from show to show with the Angels. They swept the Orioles in Baltimore. Those were decisive wins. That was no close games in that series. And they took the opener of the game down in St. Louis on Friday night. So, Mike, you gave them 4 wins.
Yeah.
I was kind of scratching my head on that one, but
they superseded it.
They did. I only gave them 3 wins.
Yeah.
So, Mike, because we're not counting this week's game,
today's
games, which was a doubleheader.
Yeah.
We only have 2 games to look at.
Yep.
Because we have the All-Star break.
Yep.
We got one against the Cardinals on Sunday afternoon, and a day game with the Arizona Diamondbacks after the All-Star break.
Yeah, flip a coin. One of these games we're going to win, one of these games we're going to lose. I don't know which one's which.
All right. You know what? I'm going to ride the hot streak, and I'm going to go 2. I'm going to say they can pull it off.
Okay.
Probably going to be wrong, but it's a lot fun. It's a lot more fun to talk about it when we have different numbers.
Yeah.
It's something to talk about.
Nope.
And I don't think it's going to be a 0. So it's never fun to take the 0 and talk about how you were right that they won 0 games in an entire week.
Okay, real quick, Rich. Let's get into the home run derby. Your home run derby players of the 2024 season: Pete Alonso, Alec Boehm, Angelos Garcia, and Gunnar Henderson. Rich, what's the other 4?
Marcel Ozuna, Jose Ramirez, and Oscar Hernandez.
And Bobby Witt.
Yes, and Bobby Witt Jr.
Yeah.
All right, Mike, it's Monday night on ESPN. Who do you like?
Can you go wrong picking Pete Alonso?
It's hard to pick against him. He's participated in the home run derby before, so he knows what to expect. He knows how to pace himself. They did change up the rules again. So those slight changes.
Baseball. You don't need to change the home run derby. You don't need to do it. There's no reason to change the home run derby.
Yeah. So the rules this year, they have to change that, make it different, I guess, is that the first round, it's a timed round, but the hitter will see a maximum of 40 pitches. Only get 40, similar to there is a maximum number of basketballs shot in the NBA three-point contest.
So if I hit 40 in 30 seconds,
you're done.
I'm done.
Yep. So it's a timed event, so you could...
Now is it he only sees 40, or he only gets to swing at 40? Because
you get a maximum of 40 pitches.
So if your pitcher like throws it into the crowd,
yeah,
you're screwed.
It says a maximum of 40 pitches.
That's dumb.
This will place a greater premium on efficiency between the batting practice pitchers and the hitter.
I mean, it does, but man, that's dumb. We don't need to mess with the home run derby.
Last year's derby, all the participants averaged more than 43 swings per round. So,
okay, what's wrong with that? Baseball. The home run derby.
You get 3 minutes in each of the first two rounds and 2 minutes in the championship round. And they're doing away with the bracket style. The first round, all 8 hitters, the top 4 move forward, and then they bracket it. So at least you won't have a chance where you have a home run.
So you can't have one guy get like 10 and the other guy gets 15, and then the other 4 guys
the other 4 guys maybe only hit 9 out, but because he was matched up with the guy that got the most homers in that round, he's done.
Right.
So
right.
I guess I kind of like that change.
I don't mind that. That's actually a decent change. How about all rounds like that?
And that's how it used to be. That's the home run derby I remember growing up with, is that it was, you took from groups. There wasn't a bracket style.
I got a fun one. How about we double the number of people in the home run derby? Okay?
So you're wanting to go to 16.
We're going to go to 16. Everybody just has 1 round. Boom. You have 2 minutes. You get to, or we go up to 20. You have 2 more after you do 16. You do 20. If you go up to 20. Let's go to 32. How about that? each team sends one guy. The team picks. How about this? Team picks 32. Doesn't matter. You get 32. One round. You got one shot. One opportunity. Don't puke your mom's spaghetti or whatever that song says. You have one shot. Hit as many home runs as you can in 2 minutes. We're going to do it 32 times.
I don't know.
By the way, that's an hour and 4 minutes plus breaks. You can make that you can easily make that 2 hours, hour and a half. Call it an hour and a half. We're going to have an hour and a half. The home run derby is going to be an hour and a half, period. You only have one shot. Boom. After that, you're done. And the guy that hits the most home runs in that round, well, guess what? He wins the home run derby.
I don't know. I think 32, going 32, sending one player. But I mean, at least make everybody that makes the All-Star team that's a hitter, put them out in the home run derby.
Okay, but that would be about 30. No, that'd be 32. You'd be over 32. How about we stop doing this? You have to have one player from every team on each side for the All-Star game, and you send one guy to the home run derby.
So don't even have an All-Star game anymore.
No, have an All-Star game, but we don't. Does any of the Cubs deserve to be in the All-Star game?
I think Shota Imanaga does deserve to be there.
Sure, Imanaga maybe, but.
But by all means, yeah, there are some guys that are.
Anybody on the Reds?
Yeah, I think Ellie De La Cruz does deserve to be there.
Okay. Is there a team?
Yeah,
how about the A's? I don't know. Pick a team. Find a team. I guarantee you can find one of 32 teams that doesn't deserve to have a guy in the All-Star team, in the All-Star game.
So you're,
but,
all right, I see where you're coming from.
But
you know what?
You can find one guy that can hit some home runs.
And that gets your one player participating from every single team.
Yep. And it's an hour and a half. And you got guys from every team. What's wrong with it? And isn't that more of a traditional home run derby?
I think so, and then you could even shrink the All-Star roster.
Yeah.
As well. Do you need to have enough players on the team to where, in theory, you can empty the benches so that every player gets to play?
You don't need that. How about we just play a normal game of baseball with teams with All-Star teams? Like, what's wrong with that? By the way, if I was ever a coach, and it's never going to happen, I get it, but if I was ever a major league manager and I was tasked with the All-Star game, you know what I'm doing? I'm putting the best team out there. And I might sub in a couple guys here and there depending. But there is no way I'm going to feel obligated to get every guy out there. And I won't ever get to do it ever again. Doesn't matter if I win by 100,000 points. Because I didn't put one from it, didn't everybody play? What? Rich, in any other game in the year, does every person get to play on the team?
No.
Why do we care on this one then?
So would you rest your own players so if they had to go to the All-Star game, they didn't get to play? They would take one. They would take one for the team.
Hey, you don't look like you look like you got some 6-hour flu. You'd be a cheerleader today.
I gotta have you. I gotta leave you. I gotta leave you available to pitch in just in case.
Just in case.
Just in case.
I would also tell them, no, I don't want one player from every team. If my guy makes it, if my guy deserves to make it, sure, I might play him. If he's the best shortstop out there, yeah, I'll do it. I'm not going to deny people the all-star that deserve to be out there. But I'm not going to say every one of these guys deserves to be out there. I mean, Imanaga is he's a starting pitcher.
So at best, he's going to pitch 1 inning. That's it.
And he's not the starter.
No. The starter is Paul Skynes.
Now you're asking him to do something slightly different than his normal day? No, he doesn't need to be out there. He was named to the team. By the way, there should only be 5 starters. 5 starting pitchers. They all get named. Only one of them goes. And that's your starter. Then give me all the relief pitchers you want.
So the starter has I would probably go with 2 starting pitchers.
Sure.
Automatically.
If one of them does have a brown bottle flu day. Or whatever.
Take 2 starting pitchers on it, and it's identified before that game even starts. You're going to throw X amount of pitches. Once you hit that limit, I'm going to bring in this guy, and then we're going to go to the bullpen guys. And regardless of what happens, you're going to throw an inning.
Maybe I don't know that I would necessarily do that, but either way, I don't like the current All-Star game. Speaking of not liking the current game, Joe Madden put out a thing this week.
Yeah, I got the full story up. It's not just
what I sent you.
The Facebook thing, yeah. But the Facebook snippet on it was that he was doing an interview with Foul Territory, and the headline bullet points from that summarized that his portion of the podcast that he was on talked about the obsession with analytics is hurting the game. Former players and coaches are being pushed aside. Individual players / brands are replacing the team.
I agree with all of those statements, and you kind of, I think I'll let you put your words on it. How about you do that, and then I'll kind of give the rebuttal to it.
Yeah, and more kind of talking about it is that this is a quote from Joe. Guys have to be told they're screwing up and doing things wrong. Madden explained he believes sloppy play can happen even under the best instructors. However, players need to be held accountable when they make mistakes. And the game has devolved to a point where everybody's after their own brand and the show-me kind of thing, as opposed to playing the team concept thing that was individualized by the Dodgers, Cardinals, or the Pirates. Madden continued.
Yeah. So let's get your thoughts on it.
You know what? I kind of agree. I think you hear a lot of times that some managers are getting the job because they're willing to listen to analytics. And now analytics has taken over so much of the game that you have players that have a note card. Note card in their back pocket to tell them how to position themselves in the outfield. Or you see every single time there's a pinch hitter, you know automatically that pitching coach is going to go out there. The game's going to be paused, and you're going to see the pitching coach go up there to talk strategy and go over. All right, remember, this is this guy. This is the scouting report we got on this guy. Okay. You never saw that many mound visits happen in maybe even 5 yeyears ago, 10 years ago.
How about this one? And this is one of those things that I would argue about. I forgot. I meant to send it to you, but we're starting to see the slide be taken out of the game.
Yeah, I saw that because now players are realizing that they can disrupt the fielder because they're so used to thinking, it's going to be a slide. Now, if they know they're going to be out at second base, they just run through it.
Yep.
To disrupt the fielder, and it's a legal play.
Yep. And so, because because they run through it, it throws off the fielder, and now all of a sudden, like, you're seeing random errors happen, which, again, that's going to get trained out of the game. You're going to see that trained out of the game. Because if the errors are caused by this is new and different, but either way, taking sliding out of the game because it disrupts the play is a purely analytics statement. I don't like it, but I'm an old man. Everything Joe Madden said, I agree with. I think the guy deserves. And you brought up the point pre-show that you thought that this might be something to do with him not having a job, and I think some of it might be true. I don't deny that that's probably accurate, but I think what's also accurate is that he still could play the game and play the game, or could coach the game and coach the game well, and deserves to. So.
But is he willing to take directions from a front office? He wasn't early. He coached in a Rays organization that embraced analytics, but he also did some things that were outside of the box as a player's coach.
Yep, 100%. I think that's where the thing where things change. So I don't know what the best answer for that is, but
yeah, I don't quite know where he's coming from with individual players or brands replacing the teams. I think that.
Okay, Rich, when you watch ESPN, when you watch SportsCenter, when you watch whatever, other than local news, what are they covering? Shohei Ohtani hit another home run and pitched a perfect game. This guy did this other perfect feat. They rarely actually talk about even in their coverage of the games, it's about what individual players are doing, not really about the team. Yes, there are highlights, but there are not. You're no longer seeing the focus on the team. You're seeing the focus on an individual player, a brand, and I think Shohei is a bad example of this, because Shohei really does try to do things in a way that doesn't make him his own brand, but he is his own brand. And he's changed things and turned things on their head. And stars are more important. Being a star, being a star is more important in the game than being anything else.
Yeah, I guess I can get that, because even when they're promoting the matchups, like for the game of the week, it's
Bryant.
It's Juan Soto and the Yankees take on Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers.
Yep.
On Sunday Night Baseball. Or it's not the Dodgers versus the Yankees.
Which, by the way, in most traditional baseball fans, saying Cubs Dodgers is a huge thing. Like, I love baseball. You love baseball. The Cubs Dodgers is enough of a draw to watch a game. Honestly, any game for me is enough of a draw to watch a game. But the Yankees Dodgers is enough of a draw. Cubs Dodgers, whatever. The big market games are the draw. Used to be. Now it's the fact that they have this particular. You see it with
by all means, it's not to the point where basketball is at. Basketball has really gone into being more about the brand and the player as much of the team, because so much of it's what am I getting from the game, or especially with load management in basketball. But so maybe baseball is finally coming around to that, of trying to promote the players.
So,
Similar to how the NBA is.
for example, Garrett Crotchet versus Imanaga and the Cubs. You'll see that these are two teams that do the White Sox really, like, is that guy really a draw? No, but they have to have a player in front that you care about. Oh yeah, how about Pete Alonso and the Mets? Rich, how good are the Mets right now?
They're in a position to make the playoffs, but
is there anybody on that team other than Pete Alonso that you care about?
maybe a little bit with Francisco Lindor.
Sure. Yeah.
A bigger name.
He might get a bigger name. He might be the guy that actually you talk about more. But either way, but you see what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason for that to be a thing, but it is. So, okay, with that, Rich, we're talking baseball. Let's give them the American League. Do you want to do the pitchers, or do you...
Let's... Do you think they're taking out the fact that, everybody's got to have an all-star?
Yeah.
Are there any players that are on the roster that you feel that kind of stand out to you as, why is this guy on the team? I mean, let's try and stay away from like list radio of giving every single player. But
I mean, you know that I'm gonna say, why is Carlos Correa up there?
Because he was a part of the cheating.
Yeah.
Astros.
I think any of those guys deserve to not be on it, personally. I don't think Jose Altuve should be on there, but I don't think he made it this year, did he?
He was voted in as a starter, but is being replaced.
Oh, good. Nobody wants him. Anyway, but again, anybody that cheated in the game and got caught doesn't deserve to be on the team. How about that?
Okay, Mike.
I mean, no, who do you have?
Well, one guy that sticks out to me is, why would you put him on the All-Star team when he's currently injured?
Mm-hmm.
Mookie Betts.
Yeah, or Rafael.
He's been injured. He's been injured for the last 2 months, but he's going to make the All-Star team.
Yeah.
About him getting a bonus in his contract, so let the players or the players voting him in to make sure he gets that bonus.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about that, I mean, yes, I agree, but Fernando Tatis Jr. is injured. Rafael Devers injured. There's
Devers was voted in. Devers, I think, was voted in.
But again, he's injured. Kyle Tucker, I think, was voted in. And so is Fernando Tatis Jr. He's a starter.
You can't do anything about the fan vote, because how much the voting, I didn't notice it as much this year, but how many for the month do you get, because if you have the Major League app and you identify a favorite team, you get a daily push notification.
You do.
Vote Cubs.
Vote Cubs.
2020
Yeah.
All-Star game.
Yeah, I agree.
They give you that option when you go to vote in the All-Stars. You can just click one button and it automatically casts your vote for all the Cubs.
Yep, which is dumb. That's not how it should be. But yeah, it's brand loyalty. I mean, it's team brand loyalty, but it's still brand loyalty to a fault. Okay, with that, Rich, let's talk the John Deere Classic. You got to go last week. Did you enjoy it? Where were you sitting?
We watched. We were just as much. By all means, we were there to see the concert afterwards. Not gonna lie, we were there to see the concert. But after my volunteer shift ended, we found a spot to watch the last couple of groups come through the 18th hole. So we got to see the champion putt in, and what people were saying was that that was the first time all weekend he had shown any emotions out on the course, is when he finally secured the victory.
Yeah,
which
wow.
was the Davis Thompson. He became he won the tournament and is the 24th player to earn their first tour win at the QC tournament in its 53-year history.
Wow.
So 24 out of the 53 years of this tournament,
Wow.
the player has won.
That's their first win.
Gotten their first tour win at either at TPC or was it at Oakwood Country Club when it was the Quad City Classic or the Hardin?
Yeah, it was Oakwood Country Club out in Coal Valley, where my cousin got married.
So that was kind of cool to find out that little tidbit about it. So it was neat to see the trophy presentation, but a lot of not where you wanted to be crowd-wise, because there was a lot of people congested in that small area around the 18th green.
Yeah, it's always crazy at the end of the tournament because everybody wants to be at that spot. But it's good to see that. It's great to see that. I mean, it's always fun to see the new players win, and that's one thing that I love about the John Deere Classic, the Quad City Tournament, whatever you want to call it. That is a mainstay, like you said, 24 of the 53 years. It's almost half. That's two and a half less than half. That's crazy. So, with that, any shout-outs that you want to give before we end the show?
Well, before we give shout-outs, Mike, let's give a little bit of a teaser for next week.
Oh, okay.
So we mentioned it in our in kind of previewing the show that we were going to do a start. If time allowed, we would do our starting 9 of fictional baseball players from the movie.
Non-draft style, right? So it's not a guy's off the board, but
we can overlap
okay.
players if we choose. So
do you have a catcher ready? I have a catcher.
Oh yeah.
Bar none, I have the greatest catcher of all time as my pick.
Oh yeah.
By the way, so for the baseball players, you cannot repeat. You can't pick.
So it's going to be
Babe Ruth from
fictional players only. Drafting Lou Gehrig, who was the storyline of the Pride of the Yankees.
No.
Or Babe Ruth, who had a cameo in
tons of movies
in The Sandlot. In The Sandlot, you obviously can't choose.
No.
You can't choose Babe Ruth. He was an actual player.
Right.
Or Jackie Robinson from 42.
Yeah.
They were out. They were actual
100%.
players.
Only fictional characters. Rich, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
You're just going to do one player that.
We're just going to do our catchers.
Okay. I'll let you go first. I know for sure you're not drafting mine. So, and even if you are, I am fine drafting a different guy because I think there's great depth at the catching position.
Catchers are great, and none better than the great Hambino from The Sandlot.
All right. He's way down on my depth chart.
Your mom. Is that your mom over there? Ooh, she's looking good. Took the all-star players from City Ball, screwed them up in the head. Knows how to call a game. Knows how to call balls and strikes. Man, great player there. What's your pick at the catcher position?
I'm going with Crash Davis. He can go with he calls a good game. He knows how to develop young starting pitchers because a lot of the players, on the pitching side in the movies, you think of kids. So you'd have a young starting rotation. If we were going to take this all the way down and go pitchers, a lot of those pitchers will probably be young kids, like minor leaguers or minor leaguers, or of kids movies that where the movie focus is more on youth ball, of pitchers in youth ball. So that's why I want Crash Davis, and he's the all-time minor league home run king. So he's been around the game a lot. You need a veteran presence behind the plate.
Yep. I didn't know it, but did you know that there is an actual baseball player called Crash Davis?
I think I do remember that.
Lawrence Columbus Crash Davis. Born in 1919. He was a second baseman and played for the Philadelphia Athletics from 1940 to 1942. So.
Yeah. So the other criteria that we kind of found for this, you could only, thinking of when you're drafting, you're putting your team together, Mike, is that you're drafting them based off of the talent level that they've portrayed in real time in the movie.
Yep.
So Benny the Jet stays as a Dodger, and during his younger days on the Sandlot would count, but drafting, say, Mr. Myrtle,
he's just an old man.
Yeah, would mean you're getting him as the beast-owning blind old man, not the player he once was.
Now, are we drafting a manager? Because does the beast count as a manager?
You could have Mr. Myrtle as your manager.
Right, would be a great manager.
Yeah, I did include a manager on my roster, and the final thing is the player does not necessarily have to be from a traditional baseball movie like The Sandlot or Bull Durham. They just needed to be from a movie with a baseball scene.
By the way,
a movie that I'm thinking of, Mike, Brewster's Million.
Sure. Yep.
Richard Pryor and John Candy. Their minor league baseball team takes on the New York Yankees in an exhibition.
I have a question.
Sure.
Would you count stickball as baseball?
Sure.
I.e., if you're talking big, and the young kid version of Tom Hanks' character plays.
I would count that. Or if you wanted to.
Like, I'm not saying I would never take him because honestly.
Or you have softball, or we'll count softball and baseball overlapping.
Okay.
To play.
I got my first baseman too now.
Okay.
But
Field your thing. So we'll talk about that next week. So tune in for that, or it could be, or we could be recording 2 shows. I don't know. Maybe we'll figure. We'll get out the details, and if we end up doing a separate show, 2 separate shows, that could be on the table. Depending on, but we'll work out the details offline. So watch for that. So that's just a preview for next week, whether it's a standalone show or part of our normal weekly show.
okay.
Mike, have your players ready. I would say that I would say think of the actual players, the positions that they actually played. Obviously, Benny the Jet obviously doesn't play any one specific position in that movie, so I'm flexible on him. But
he would naturally be your DH type player.
Okay.
Right? Like
player.
He would be your DH / utility.
I would say that I would not put up prices think of if you had Benny the Jet at first base, and I may have put him at second base as an example. But obviously you couldn't pick Pedro Serrano, like from the Major League Cleveland Indians. He played out in the outfield. You couldn't put him at third base or first base. He never played that position in the actual movie. So keep that in mind when you're building your roster.
Okay, and I believe that is it for the week. With that, Rich, no shout-outs?
A happy retirement to Cindy McCaskey. We went down to her retirement party today, which is one reason why we're recording in the evening. In addition to the work that you guys had to do down in your basement, And it's my nephew JD's birthday tomorrow.
Happy birthday, JD. Are you going down there again tomorrow?
No, they'll be coming up next week.
Okay. Well, have fun.
So,
We will talk to you guys next week. Same time-ish. Well, we won't. It won't be same time. But we'll see you sometime next week. Same channel. Rich, let's go ahead and...
Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa, this is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich.